Good evening, everybody. It's Martine here again. This evening I want to continue with my talks on the Entangled You. I did the introduction and now I'm going to continue with part 1. I've decided to play some Native American music in the background. So this probably is one of the talks that you'd want to listen to maybe in the evening as you're unwinding. So where do I begin with the Entangled You? First of all, I'm going to explain most of my work has been done through training. It's been done through observation. It's been done through intuition, and it's been done over many, many years. So when I've looked at my practice, I decided I needed to fine-tune it into specifically an inner self alignment, because this is what I noticed was so far off when I was working with people. And I also noticed lots of patterns were coming to the fore. And I noticed that these patterns, albeit were quite individual, had a theme running through everybody, including myself. And what I noticed was there was such an entanglement going on that sometimes when you're in that place, it just seems so hard to move away from it. And then that got me thinking as to what was it? Why is it that we can't seem to get out? Well, my observations have brought me to understand quite a lot of things. And some of it's a bit scary. Some of it's quite mind-blowing. And some of it is unexplained. But I'm going to start with a scenario and an observation that I had with a recent experience. Sometimes when we are connected with people, we're kind of drawn to them via what I know now is a vibrational frequency. And that's just one of the threads of the many entangled threads that we hold within ourselves. We're forever emitting a vibrational frequency. Now, if we're in a lower vibration, or a higher vibration, or in the middle, that's going to determine who we're attracting into our life at that moment in time. So not long ago I had a situation where I was observing something from afar, but it was quite close to me too. And just watching this person's behaviour was kind of puzzling, to say the least, and kind of got me curious as to what it was that person was doing with their behaviour. And all I can describe it is that they have, in my opinion, what I would deem as being hacked. A bit like a computer, when the computer has a software and you can get hacked. And sometimes people get trapped in these viruses and these vibrations, and other people can take over. That's the scary part. How can they take over? Because you're so tied up with lots of things that have gone on in your life that you can't seem to get rid of, or you want to keep going back and reliving. that while you're tied up in knots, someone can come along and take your energy. I've seen it time and time again. People not understanding how they can end up in a situation. But then there's those who are ready and waiting for you to be in that situation. They're just as entangled with everybody else's energy. And what I observed is the people are totally unaware, or appear to be unaware. So what do we do, and how do we get out of it, and how do we avoid these people coming into our space and into our energy? If you think about being tied up in an entangled web, you're going to be restricted. So we have to start learning how to unpick this entangled web, how to get out of it. What do we do? Where do we start? Do we have to eliminate people? Do we have to remove people out of our life? We have to become totally aware of what's going on with us. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be in total surrender. We have to become the observer, not the participator, in everything that comes in our path. And so when we're going through life and we're looking at this and we're thinking, wow, how am I going to get that? How am I going to do that? Especially if you're a type of person who wants to be involved in everything. It becomes quite restricting, becomes quite frustrating, it becomes exhausting. Because whilst you're out there, remember, you've got a back door, you've got windows, you've got places where people can come in whilst you're already out. And what I mean by that is that we've all met these people who, when they come into your space, they want to know everything about you before they really get to know you. It's like they're only interested in and waiting for that snippet, for that window to open for them to sneak in. And we've all got the windows. The more people who stay in their own space, in their own home, in their own place, the less you have people actually getting in. Don't get me wrong, you have people who are always trying. They just walk past and think that one's a safe house, we can't get in there, because you're already in. They only come when you're not in. They come when you're not in. They come when you're not in. So this part of the entanglement is looking at why you're not at home. What is it that you don't like within your own space, within your own place? Why is it that you prefer to be in somebody else's space? What is it? What's making you feel uncomfortable? What's making you feel that you can't sit with yourself? What is it? Because when I look at it, I'd rather sit with myself than be sitting in somebody else's energy that has total control over everything that I do, everywhere I want to go, everything I want to see. When I'm in my own space, I can do whatever I like, whenever I like. And we're looking at now getting to the place where it's time for everybody to come home, to come back, to stay in their own house. because that's where all the work is done. That's where all the magic happens. That's when you can start to untangle. You don't have to go back into any dark rooms. You just need to allow yourself to be with yourself so you can stop the others from coming in and tying you up and taking over. And we all know those people. You've either had them in your life and they've affected you, or you've seen them affect somebody else. So everybody's already on observation mode. But some more than others give up and take themselves out of play. And when you take yourself out of play, somebody else will be doing that for you. Because everything has to function, even us. So, the situation that I came across was a typical situation of somebody being entangled, somebody being hacked by somebody else because they were never allowed to see themselves for who they really were for any length of time. What they were doing was running away from themselves. They found it difficult to be at home with themselves. They found it easier to put on a mask to the world, everybody that they met. They were on the run constantly. And so when that happens, they can be self-destructive, but they can also damage others. And looking at that situation is quite hard to watch as an observer, especially if you know the person quite well. But because we have choices in life, which I mentioned on the introduction, we do have choices, and we have to come to a place where we start to really use what we were born with to guide us in making those right choices and those right decisions. And it's as simple as making a judgment between right and wrong. You have a gut feeling. But when you're tied up and you're entangled, those gut feelings, they disappear. Because somebody else has your gut feelings. Somebody else has your program. And so what I've noticed is that because we're vibrational frequencies, we're also like a radio station. We're also like a TV program. We create our own reality. That is quite a true sentence. However, somebody else can be creating your reality for you. And that's why it's so important to start this entangled mess that we have around us, to start really getting in to untying it. People can only guide you and help you, but you know where your knots are. Sometimes it's difficult to unpick them because it takes a while, and people have no patience. People want things like now, like yesterday. How long is it going to take? Because we're so used to an environment where everything's quick. A pill here, that will get rid of your pain, so they say. But that's just another piece of wiring, another web that's going to make an entangled knot somewhere else. Yeah, the symptom might go for a while, but the pain will come back somewhere else. It has to. So what do we do? What do we do? We have to allow people to go and self-destruct if that's what their mission is, if that's what their journey is. Because those choices that they make eventually will be harsh lessons. So for me, when I'm working with clients, there's certain people I don't work with, certain people that are not ready to work with me. I work with people who are ready to come and get untangled. I work with you by dissecting your words, your behavioural patterns, the way you process, perceive and project your information. I look at everything in scrutiny. I observe every action, every word. I find out exactly what vibrational energy that you're using. And then we work with it. And that's when the entangled mess that you have around you starts to unravel. Because when you unravel, the choices you make, each time you make the right choice is another knot that's unpicked. Like magic. You start to feel looser, fresher, more clarity. I do that by teaching you also to use your mind properly. People say, we need to get into that space, meditation, and we need to get into that silence. It's impossible to do a silence in your mind. Especially in the environment that we live in today. Perhaps if you're a Buddha and you live in Tibet and that's all you do and you're sitting there with others who are silent, you can train your mind from a very young age to do that. But majority of us will never do that. It's too busy, we've got too much going on. What we can do is we can slow it down. We can slow it down so that when we slow down the words in our mind, the coherence will start to go beyond. It's like a transmitter. If you can imagine, when you shut down and you sit down and you kind of want to have a relax, or you get in the bath, or you have a shower and you get in bed, or just sitting out on the sofa or wherever you find it easy to relax. And you spend that 60 seconds with yourself, like I mentioned in the introduction. I wonder how many of you actually did that and managed to achieve it. The 60-second rule still applies. If you can sit in silence for 60 seconds and allow those thoughts to come and to go. And at first it would be like 1,000 people talking at once. But the more you do it and pay them no attention, the less of the noise, let's say, comes into your energy, comes into your mind. So for 60 seconds, we want to then now look at how we slow down the words and the sentences, the conversations that are going on within our mind. So there'll be one thing that's going to keep playing and playing and playing and playing. An argument that you had, the situation like the person I've just been talking about, their behaviour. There'll be something that just keeps playing. Pick that one. Pick it. Grab it. And then listen to it again. And again. And again. And then, when you've got it, slow it down. Slow it down as if you're slowing down a tape recorder. And then see how much that wants to irritate you after you've slowed it down. It's only when it's on fast speed, because the fastness of it is agitating. When you slow anything down, it becomes a little bit more calmer, a little more peaceful. And actually, when you slow it down and you really start to hear what it is, 9 times out of 10, it was so yesterday, it was so irrelevant. It's not worth even giving it any more headspace. But the art of slowing down the things that are bothering you. And then when I say slow down, I mean really slow down. Let's pick a scenario. Someone said something to you that was really hurtful, totally untrue about you. Let's see, they said that you are a troublemaker. Nobody likes you. So you're sat in your 60 seconds relaxation space. And you can hear that nobody likes you. You're such a troublemaker. You've always been a troublemaker. And you're arguing back. Ooh, no. Everybody's saying it, they said. Like who? And you're having that argument within your mind. So slow it down. Let's get the first word. Nobody. Keep on that first word. Nobody. Nobody. Think of it like an echo. By the time it's gone, how many times can you hear an echo? Depending on how big the space is. So clear the space in your mind and allow that one word, nobody, to repeat itself until you can't hear it anymore. Then go for the next word, likes. Say likes, likes, likes. Now slow it down even more, likes. You're now entering a different space because the sentence is not really the sentence anymore. It's slowed down that much. You don't even know what the sentence was. You continue with the sentence. And now you're asking, this is going to be more than 60 seconds. And you'd be right. But it's a way to get you to sit longer than the 60 seconds, because the 60 seconds was only a challenge. But don't forget, we're only using one sentence. That sentence could take 5 minutes till you get to the end of it. But because it's done on such a slow speed, that particular sentence can have no trouble. That's an unwinding. That's an unentangled piece. It's straightening it out, it's flattening it, it's untangling it, it's taking it from those little knots, from those fast words, and he doesn't like you, she doesn't like you, blah, 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 and it's fast, 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 and it's tying you up as quickly as you can think. Untangling is slowing it down. Try it, just with one sentence. That's all you need. Just try it. And then the next part 2, we're going to go into something more. So I wish you all a lovely evening. Sleep well. And I look forward to speaking to you all again soon. You can catch me on www.A.N.S.A.W.E.L.L.com to read how I work with the inner self alignment. You can contact me at info@A.N.S.A.W.E.L.L.com. That's A.N.S.A.W.E.L.L. You can find me on Facebook and you can find me on Instagram. Instagram is A.N.S.A.W.E.L.L.247. I look forward to it. PM me, DM me to answer a question or to book an appointment. I work with people all over the world. I do Skype and I do Zoom. Speak to you all soon, and thank you for listening.